kitchen. Spring is here, and so I thought today nothing better than making spring rolls. Making spring rolls is 90% prep, 10% putting it together and cooking it. So I have all of my ingredients ready here. So let's get started. First of all, I have bean shoots. This is just a can of bean shoots. Now what I will say is all of the ingredients need to be as dry as possible. Absolutely. I've laid all of my ingredients on kitchen paper because what it will do is split our spring roll wrappers, and we really don't want that. I've just put carrot in here, so I've got 1 tin of bean sprouts and 1 carrot that, as you can see, I've roughly grated. The next thing I'm going to put in is onion. Now, I was hoping to get spring onions, but they're not actually out yet, and I do like to buy produce that's in season. So I'm just going with regular onion, but as you can see, it's very well chopped. I did this on my board, and if you need to see how to peel and chop an onion, look at my stew recipe, because on there I do absolutely every vegetable known to man. Okay, in this bowl here I have noodles. They're looking a bit sorry for themselves at the moment. These are just Chinese noodles, and I'm going to pop those in. I softened these down and I've chopped them a bit. Then I have mushrooms. Usually I would use black mushrooms, but again, not available to me at the moment. So what I've done is I've very finely chopped 3 large button mushrooms. That's all there is there, 3. It looks like a lot, but it actually isn't too much at all. I also have in here a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of garlic and a teaspoon of pepper. So in that goes. We've got quite a lot of ingredients going on here, but it will be tasty as anything, I can assure you. In this bowl here, I have just 1 chicken breast that I've ground in my food processor. Now I've sort of ground it, but not so it's a paste. You want to stop before it gets to a pasty stage, and that's going to go in. I also have a pack of prawns. Now I've got about 450 grams here. That's a lot, but it was a bargain pack of prawns, and I really can't resist a bargain. So in go my prawns. So far we have all of our sort of main ingredients. Now the only seasonings I'm going to put in here now is, I have here 2 teaspoons of soy sauce, the just regular soy sauce, and I have 2 teaspoons of oyster sauce. The oyster sauce is optional, but I can assure you it tastes lovely. It really lends something to this recipe. Just using my finger here to get the rest out. There we go. Last of all, in terms of main ingredients, 1 egg beaten. And then this is optional, but this is an oriental spice, which is really gorgeous. So about a teaspoon of the oriental spice, and we're done. That is it. That's simple. Now all I have to do is try and get this together, and I'm probably going to have to get in here with my hand. That will be easier. There we go. We want to try and get it all as evenly distributed as we can. Now this still feels quite wet, so that's why we need to make sure that we dry the ingredients, because we've put a couple of wet ingredients into it already. Okay, that's that done. Now, all I'm going to do is pop this to one side. Oops, there's a bit there. Pop this to one side so the flavours start melding while I go and prepare the wrappers. I'll see you in a bit. I have my mix here and I'm using my smallest ice cream scoop. Now I have a pan of warm water here, and you need to soak your Nem wrappers or rice papers. They're like this, stiff as a board. So you just pop them into some water and they soften down nicely. So, using my scoop, I want to try and get a bit of everything in here. Now I've got small wrappers, so it's making it a little bit difficult. I didn't actually check out the size because I ordered these online. I can't buy these locally. So, here we go. First of all, I've shaped this and got it as stiff as I can together. Then I want to pick up this bit here, fold over as good as I can and try and tuck it underneath like that. Then I'm going to take the sides and pull them in and stick them down. This is really quite sticky now, which is brilliant. Okay, and other side, you need to pull it in and then pop that down like that. Doesn't matter if you've got a little folds there. Just make sure that these sides are sealed before you carry on rolling. Now you're going to roll as tight as you can and try and get as much air out as you can as you roll. There you go. There's one. I'm working on this tea towel because these get so sticky that you're not going to move them. And there we are, look, that's quite floppy, so just let some of my water off. Place it on my mat. And here we go again. Keep giving that a bit of a stir and a bit of a zhuzh so that you've got a bit of everything coming in to this. Don't want to put too much because if you overfill these, they'll just split. There's absolutely no point. So, here we go. Just shape it, poke it in. I've got a tea towel here to keep drying my hands on, that's probably a good idea. Over the top, like this, and try and tuck it in with your fingers. Just tuck it under, that's all you need to do. Here we go. I've got a bit there, take that off. Sides in, try and get them fairly neat. If you can do that, then these don't tend to split and pop open. Here we go, there's the other side, in. There we go. You can see how sticky these become. So I keep drying my hands. Right, we're going to roll it over. But we need to get as much air out as we can because that's what's going to make these split. So try and roll it as tight as you can, and this is where the tea towel comes in really handy. There we go, there's another one. Okay, if you are going to struggle with these rice papers, because they really are quite finicky, you can actually use brick pastry. Now this is bought readily in supermarkets nowadays, and it's really versatile. I use these for my samosas and they're wicked. So all you need to do with these, and they will make bigger ones, so my boys like these even better, is put your filling in, and you probably get 2 good scoops. Look at that, in these Nems, and a little bit more, look. There we go. Do the same thing. You are going to put it right over this edge, right at the end there. And you can actually make these quite big. Might get a tiny bit more in there. That's it. So, squidge these together, make your shape. There we go. I still don't want air in these, but it's not quite as important as anywhere else. Okay, we're going to come over the top with our nem, tuck it in. That's the easiest bit to do really in a way, because you can use all your fingers on one hand to do that. I want a thin bit here, because what I'm going to do now is put that over the top. You need to hold it there just for a second. There we go. Now as you can see, that's gone a long way, so I just want to make sure I've got enough of that to do the other side and for it to stick, because you really do need to stick this pastry. There we go. And make sure it's down here. Here we go. It doesn't want to know, does it? Gonna put glue here, because I'm going to roll straight on top of that. So here we go, over, 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 until you're there. And you can put your seam on the bottom. There we go. So there's two ways to roll them. You can use these rice papers. Have a go. I do suggest you get bigger than mine. Mine are only about 17 centimetres, which is not ideal. I'll tell you what it is in inch. 7 inch. You want bigger than that. If you can, try and get 22 or bigger. They'll be much, much easier to deal with. Right, I'm going to carry on rolling these. Well, here are my nems. Some of them are more beautiful than others, I've got to say. This is the first one I did, and it is really, really not very good at all. But as I progress through, look at these. Now these I am so pleased with. It's the same with the brick. The first one I did was pretty gnarly, but these got better as well. Look. So I'm really pleased with these. Now the next thing to do is to cook these. What I do is I will deep fry every single one of these once. At that point I can then freeze whatever we don't want to use now. I will flat freeze them on trays, and then we can take them out and we can cook them whenever we want to. The second fry, because these are always better with two, I will do in the air fryer. So any grease that's been accumulated here, I don't need to spritz them or anything, I'll just put them in my air fryer, and then all the grease will go to the bottom. Much, much better. You would not believe how much grease you end up with at the bottom of your air fryer. So, gonna crack on and get my oil and my cooker all set up ready so that we can cook these. I'll see you in a minute. Okay, I've got myself all set up. I've got my nems over here. I've got a pan with one of these wire racks in, because as I fry it, I'm going to put my nems onto the rack, and that way they're not going to be sat in grease, because that wouldn't be nice. Right, here I've got my lovely, lovely thermostat, and I really do like this. I bought this on Amazon as usual. I want my fat to be around 180 degrees centigrade. I've got to be really careful here. I'm using a saucepan today because my wok and everything else sort of jumps about all over the place. Right, see if I can change this to Fahrenheit. It should change. Right, it's about 350 degrees Fahrenheit that we're looking for. So here we go. Let's pick up one of our lovely nems, and that's going straight in there. Oh, and sizzling away. Here's another one. Oh, keep away from him, please. Oh, it's kind of stuck. I wasn't paying attention, was I? Also going to put in one of these. I'm just going to cook these off until they're quite golden and nice. And that'll be our first fry done. These are looking wonderful. Brick cooks up so beautifully like this, it really does. Now all that's going to take is 4 or 5 minutes to do those, and we want them at this sort of stage if you're going to cook them in your air fryer. So I'm going to take these ones out because I will be air frying. I just want to get these ones out, and then I'll crack on and get all of these cooked up. Well, here are my nems. At least some of them. They're looking gorgeous. Actually, I've got to say, I quite like the ones that are done with brick. I think I prefer those. But let's try and see. They've both got the same filling. I think I'm quite pleased with those. Oh, they're hot. They're still hot. That filling is lovely. I think you can definitely have a go at these. I do think these wrappers are more trouble than they're worth, to be quite fair. I'm a big fan of brick. Now that is the taste I remember. Oh. Well, it was a goodly trial, really, of these wrappers, which are fine, absolutely fine. My preference is doing them in brick, and I've got to tell you, it's a lot easier to use brick to do these. I mean, look at that, the way they've rolled, the way they've cooked, compared to the rice papers. I think the rice papers are fine if you're going to put sushi in there. I don't think I would make these again. These, have a nice curry sauce, or have them with a stir fry as a treat. I've cooked these in my air fryer, and they're not nearly as greasy as they were when they started out. The others have already been fried once, so I'm going to flat freeze these, and we can take them out whenever we want and have them as a snack or have them with something else. This is definitely my preference. Oh, that brick. Honestly, that would be my advice, go with the brick. Much, much better for these. If you liked what you saw, please like, share, subscribe to see me making more tasty, economical food. Thank you for watching.